Hello there. Um, it is it is April 10th of 2025, I think it is. Honestly, I'm not really sure what this video is, or exactly what I want to say. It's kind of just open, I suppose, right now. Um, so let's see here. So, um, recently, a friend of mine back at home, uh, friends of mine back at home, uh, their their dog passed away a couple of days ago, and I just wrote for them a letter and made a video. Probably won't be publicly available, um, but I wanted to do it. I I felt like that while maybe maybe I felt like I can't quite feel in the same way that they do because I know it's their dog and not mine. I know that it's really hard, and I know that maybe yes, my face appears fairly calm right now, but I want to promise you that when I heard about that their dog passed the other day, I cried. I cried for like a solid half hour at least. And it was hard. I know that maybe I didn't get to see that dog too many times myself, but um but I know that she meant a lot. And I know that whenever I went over to their house, that she was a really sweet dog. She was really beautiful. You know, she might have been shy and fragile, but I think that she had a really strong heart and she really cared about her people. And I feel ashamed that I didn't get more opportunities, more times to see her, to go by their place. This world is really cruel sometimes. And words on a sheet of paper, or even words spoken out loud, can't make up for the pain that they're feeling right now. And I don't think it ever would. But I wanted to make sure that I did something to respect them, you know, the least I can do. And to sort of commemorate, you know, her and her name, you know, in video form. So that was something I just did. Um, I I didn't edit it. I didn't put any music over anything. I just kept it in raw form because I felt like that would be the most authentic, most sincere form that I could have it be. Right. I'm not a person who wears complicated clothes with tons of accessories. I don't care to use, complicated language. I like to be simple. I like to be relatable. I like to be realistic and to feel humble for a few different reasons. One, because it's just more personally comfortable for me, and two, I don't really like getting a ton of attention most of the time. Not to say I don't like getting some, but that doesn't really matter. But and three, I think, is also because of my religious belief. And it's just for myself. I don't honestly, I don't really care too much in terms of closing decisions other people make as long as it's not stupid, but or irresponsible, whatever. It's just more for myself. I kind of personal sort of code of conduct or rules or whatever. I don't know. Whatever it is. Honestly, I don't think it's necessarily a rule. It's just, you know. I feel like it's a way for me to kind of honor and express at least a little bit of the, you know, humility that I think that, I'm called to have as a Christian, right? Um, and I don't know. I mean, I could probably go on all sorts about, religious stuff, and I don't know if I will or not in this video, and I don't know how long this video will be for, right? It's currently, about 3:50. I was going to go to convocation at here at 3, but, you know, I wasn't feeling my best. I haven't been sick, I'm feeling fine on that front. I've been getting good sleep, drinking plenty of water, getting good food, all that good stuff. But I was feeling really frustrated over some stuff earlier, and I wanted to kind of just take some time for myself with that, and also to, um, honor the passing of my friend's dog. So it's kind of why. Um, I didn't go to that, but it's closer to, I don't know, could be 4:30, could be 5, might even be earlier than that. Honestly, I have no idea. You know, um, have some dinner. I've already gotten some of my homework stuff done, which is good. Although I have at least a few different things to do. I gotta edit a paper. I got to um I gotta make some kind of presentation for the sim class. Um, you know. And then maybe something from our wellness class. I forget what it was, but something or other. Some kind of oh yeah, it's like some kind of stress log where we're supposed to record stuff down on school day and weekend day. So I'll see what I'll put down for that. But I don't know. I got some feedback on my big paper for my GSDR class, what I have on that so far, and it's mostly positive, I think. Um, I mean, teacher, suggested some small stuff, and gotta fix that up. But he said that it looked like I was doing pretty well for the good most part, so that's good. Um, it's nice to hear. Um, let me go ahead and put stuff back in my pockets. I thought I was going to change my clothes earlier when I made this last video, but unfortunately, I didn't have any clean black pants or anything. But I did put this black sweater on, and I know it is kind of dim lighting or whatever right now. Doesn't necessarily look the best. Probably looks a little bit grainy quality. Um, Sorry about that, but we'll just have to deal with it. Um, but anyways, um, so I'm also sorry I haven't really done any daily walk videos or really too many Minecraft ones. I say Minecraft. I don't know how to say it like that. I haven't done too many Minecraft videos recently. We also have had, and that's for a few different reasons. One of them is because I just wasn't really feeling it, and I feel like I kind of may want to reassess what I want to do with that, you know, and and maybe the style or the time length or anything like that, um, you know, and kind of just being tired of it being the end of the school year. I'm kind of not really feeling particularly enthusiastic, energetic about editing Minecraft videos. I will say, and I think I said this before a long time ago, but part of the reason why my Minecraft videos are often so long is just because I'm just tired a lot of the times from school, from work, and it takes a lot of effort to go through an entire video that's like a few hours long and try to cut it down to like very specific times and like highlight those things or try to make all these decisions with that. What bits do I keep in, what bits do I keep out, right? And I'm sorry, I know that you know maybe I could probably cut out some more stuff. It is um you know I do think that they are kind of long. um I don't mind having some of them be longer. Like I'm not upset about the fact that some of my first few micro videos were that way, just because I was getting started out and all that. um you know but and I also think, yeah, again, the part two is I like the part of talking and making the video, like recording it, more than I do actually editing it. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I don't know if I'm going to try to, for example, when I'm back home during the summer, during June, early July, if I'm going to try to get someone like my brother, for example, to help me out with that or not. I don't know if he'd really be willing to. And honestly, if he does, I'm like, well, then I don't know. I feel like I got to pay him for that, and can't really. I mean, I could pay him, but I don't really. I'm trying to save up as much money as I can. Um, for my Australia trip, since I know it's going to be quite expensive. I'm going to take on a lot of debt with that, I imagine. Um, which I'm not excited about, but um, it's a lot better than it would be at a lot of other schools here. Um, so I'm very grateful for that. Lots of nice things at this college. Um, see my roommate texted me here, so let me go into what it said. Uh, okay. All right, just saying. Let me know when you're done. Yeah, I'll do that. All right. So let's see here. Um, so many different things here. So one is that I've said many times that in some of my videos before, and if you're new to the channel, then you're like, well, how do you just casually mention this or whatever? But like so this fall, 2025, I will I'll be going to Sydney, Australia to study abroad there for whole semester actually. Be from July to November. I don't know specific days yet or anything like that. I don't want to share too many details because sake of privacy and all that. And I might share a lot more of that kind of stuff later on, or maybe once I've come back and all that. But um, anyways, we'll see. But regardless, I'm definitely pretty excited for that. And it's really big. I know that I've well, a few things. I have been to a few big cities before. I haven't lived in any for a very long time. Um, I originally grew up in like was it Lexington, Louisville area here in the state of Kentucky. That's where I was. That's where I lived for a while before I moved to more. Before my family moved to a more rural area. Um, well, it wasn't really that far away from uh, you know, town or city or anything. So it's kind of just on the skirts of it or whatever. Really, not too far away. Anyways, I had some nice places. Probably talk about that a little more time, perhaps. But yeah. Anyways, so um, you know, so I know that this can be a very different experience in a lot of different ways. And one of the biggest parts of that, I mean, it's not really exclusively with. Oh, sorry. Stretch here. Ugh. Not just with Australia, but really anywhere, I suppose, is my first time out of the United States. Super excited that I get to have this opportunity. Especially this young. I've kind of been worried. It's not been like my greatest worry necessarily, all the time, but um, or maybe it just looks different at times. But I know that I've worried that I'm not, I basically just have to wait until I'm like 65 or 67 or whatever the retirement age will be because I think they're thinking of raising it or something, or I don't know. Maybe I'm misremembering. Maybe that's with um some other country or something. But like, and you know, I know that I have a lot of really nice things. I've had some nice opportunities and some nice people, and there's probably a lot of things that I don't really need to worry about too much. I know like, I mean, I'm not rich, but like, I know I'm, pretty privileged, and I know I've had some things that, uh, worked out for me that maybe other people wouldn't have gotten to do, which I really don't like that, that's the case. So, talk about that a little bit more. We'll see. But or maybe just check out some of my daily walk videos. I've kind of talked about some of that stuff a little bit more. And some of those, I can't really pinpoint to specific ones, so you might just have to, if you're interested, if you're willing to take time to sit down and watch a bunch of the Orf stand or whatever you're doing, I guess. Doesn't really matter. Um, to watch some of those and kind of just, you know, hear some of my thoughts from those. But, um, fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. It's embarrassing. Um, yeah. Well, anyways, so I guess I think I was trying to say was something along the lines of again, right, it's the whole retirement thing, right? I feel like, especially because we get, why I mean, yeah, I know some jobs you get, in this country you get, some vacation for, but there's no like minimum vacation time that's like required by law. And especially like when I see like the minimum like like all these sort of different things with like paid vacation time or paid holidays or paid parental leave. I mean, I don't know if or when I might have children. I'm not going to do that anytime soon. I don't think, although I could be completely wrong. Hope I'm not though. Children are really expensive. Um, not ready for that yet. Um, you know, but I don't know. I guess I don't know. I just been like, how I don't know if I really want. I don't really take um I don't really take that much pride in the current state of affairs of the American workplace. I feel like it is um oftentimes very toxic, very abusive. Um, right? You're expected to work for an absolutely insane amount of hours every single day. for most if not the entire week, right? And right, you don't even. I mean, sure, maybe it is true that we get paid more comparatively, your average person or something like that, right? Or a lot of jobs, yeah, they pay a lot more here in this country than they do in a lot of other places, for sure. I think that I mean, it really just depends on where you're comparing to. But I feel like if we're comparing to, for example, a lot of places in Europe or Canada or Australia, places I've considered moving. Yes, I know Europe is very big. I mean that I will try to specify what countries I mean by that a little bit better on in the future. Because I know it's quite diverse. There's like at least what 50, 60 countries or something like that. So again, very, very diverse. But anyways, that thing all thing aside, right? Um, it's like how do I don't how it's like okay, sure, maybe we get paid more, but like, do you also recognize like how expensive healthcare is here? Like it's not dread. I think that's maybe a little much. I don't always feel that way by any means, but I definitely am not excited for. I mean, even though I have pretty good health, right? I'm definitely not excited for trying to get insurance or trying to um um you know having to depend on a job to be able to stay healthy, right? But not even be healthy because the job exhausts me, whatever, right? Like I feel it's just I don't know, it's just really crazy to me. And yes, I know that there's like a whole bunch of legal hoops to consider. And yes, I know there's a lot of other factors. And that of course healthcare and job stuff is not the only reason why I think I want to live in some other places in the world and instead of the United States, right? And I mean yes, and I do acknowledge the fact I would rather live here than a lot of other places in the world. That is definitely true. I think there's a lot of really good things here. I think most people in this country are nice. They're kind. That they'll help you run if you really need it. Um, you know, maybe I don't agree with a lot of people, especially politically. Um, right? I'm very, very left leaning. We'll just put it like that. And no, I'm not a Democrat. Also not a communist. I'm neither of those things. And I'm not going to say the term of what I think my political affiliation is, just because I don't want people getting down on me in the comment section or whatever. I don't know. Maybe you would. You know, I hope sometime or another I make like an actual proper video or two or live. I have no idea. But explaining this is what my political beliefs are, or what my arguments for that is, or values, or whatever. Honestly, I like the idea, but I kind of feel like I don't really know how to, or just I feel like because I'm so young, I'm so inexperienced that like you know I don't know. I feel like that my arguments are gonna be really flawed, but they're like really missing a lot of stuff. Although I don't know, maybe I don't give myself enough credit, um, for what I think or whatever. But I don't know. Anyways, um, so I don't know, but so and you know, I think one part for myself that's been kind of hard for me to um to deal with, to contend, is trying to think about how do I explain how do how do I communicate to a lot of people here that I don't think this is the best country, or that I don't want to live here much past college, right? Like I'll finish off my college career. I might stay a few years, for something, maybe to prepare myself, get all my, stuff ready, or maybe, have a few years of really being an adult in the real world before I, really make any big jumps to anywhere. And of course, I want to, explore places and, try out some things, kind of dip my toe in the water, if you will, before I, fully jump into something, right? Because it's a really big decision. And, I am aware of, the whole issue of, right, I'll be you know, I won't, very most likely I wouldn't be having my family, or most of my friends. I don't mean maybe some of them. I don't know. I guess we'd really have to see. But, you know, most people that I know, I reckon, I wouldn't, um, right, I wouldn't, be able to really see, because they wouldn't be there wherever I'd go, probably. So unless things need to go a certain direction. But honestly, I have no idea. I feel like that, and I know this is complicated, and I don't mean this in a. At least I don't hope. I hope it doesn't come off like this as like a mean sort of thing. But it's like I feel like a lot of I feel like so many people, myself included, before, even just a few years ago. I don't really know at what point it was. Maybe it was junior year, maybe it was senior year, or something like that. It was in late high school. That much I know, right? But before that, right, I myself, along with, you know, a lot of other people, and I don't know what that specific number is, but it doesn't really matter. I feel like we're kind of brainwashed into thinking that like this is the best place ever, the best country, or we're number one, you know. I mean, we're also number one in like healthcare debt or student loan debt, or uh, I don't know if we're actually number one in student loan debt. Some other places that are pretty high. Definitely up there. And a whole lot of other really crazy ass things too, right? Negative, bad things. Also, gun violence. I don't think it's the highest in this country comparatively to a lot of the places, but in terms of like first world, industrialized Western nations or whatever, yeah, doing pretty badly on that front comparatively. Um, and I mean, I'm speaking of guns, that this opinion I'm about to express is, um, it would not be taken too lightly by um, a lot of people in this country, but I don't think we should have the right to guns, to bear arms. Um, except for maybe in the cases of like certain types of hunting, or sport or something like that. But even then, I really don't like that idea. I don't really like the idea of, just hunting animals for the fun of it. But and that, and maybe we'll get to that discussion later on. But but I think the part that really, the main part of this for me is that I feel like that, um and I don't know. I mean, there's so much that I don't know, and maybe there's a lot of realities I haven't experienced. So I mean, who knows? Maybe I might completely change my opinion, right? But I don't think that carrying um weapons around necessarily is like the right thing to do. I'm not saying that there aren't times where you might not have to like fight people or whatever, but I really think that we should try our hardest, our best to make sure that we don't do that, because I think that, especially in a lot of the media in this country, I think that we glorify war. I think we glorify fighting people. I think we glorify, um, you know, shooting and killing and all these things. And I'm not saying that because I think that, people here are like psychopaths or anything. I don't think I think that's far from the case. I think that's far from the truth. But I think it kind of desensitizes, it makes us less sensitive, or we kind of, um, just be like, okay, yeah, we just accept that. Oh, yeah, sure. It's just natural for, stuff like that to happen. People get shot and, for example, like school shootings or whatever. Um, you know, I mean, I can't even. And I'm very grateful that I've not had any like actual shooting incidents in any of the schools that I've been in, but I can only imagine how terrifying that would be. Not only for being in the midst of that, but also especially for parents who lose their children. Like, I mean, I don't have any children of my own, but I can only imagine how awful that feels, right? How, like, I can only imagine how and I don't even think I can really use express the right words to express the level of pain and anger and frustration and sadness that so many parents have had in this country because of, these shootings, right? Um, in addition to that, all right, it's not just the shootings, although that is a very big part of it, but it's also, again, like I mentioned, the whole thing of, I don't think that we should I don't think that saying that, like, oh, you can just carry a weapon around to, for, oh, self-defense or whatever, is necessarily right, especially the way that we do it. I feel like that it's really, really easy for a lot of people to get guns. And I think that even if we never get to a point where we just outright ban all guns or anything like that, or very severely restrict them so it's basically practically impossible to get one, which I think would be a very good move for society. I don't think anyone should be allowed to have weapons. Um, right? Human life is precious. Um, we should try to resolve things through nonviolent means, preferably, right? And not always, but history has shown that sometimes some nonviolent actions can, and do work, right? So, there's that, right? Especially with, some of the civil rights movements, right? We're not perfect. We're definitely pretty far from that, but we made some progress. I hope we don't lose that. You know, hope we don't regress or continue regressing, right? Especially under the current Trump regime. But um, nonetheless, I feel like that if sorry, I got kind of sidetracked there. I feel like that if we were like, okay, we're still going to allow guns, that we should take, for example, inspiration from the I don't know what it's called, but it's like the German system or something like that, where they basically make you have to do a whole bunch of psychological tests. You have to, have several months of, you know, practice and training and mentorship or something like that, right? And you also have a whole bunch of forms, health forms and whatnot. I don't know. It's a whole crazy ass process, though. They make it very hard for people to get their hands on a gun, and I think that's a really good way of doing it, right? Because if you're going to be holding one of those things, if you're going to be holding something that can very easily take a human life, I I really want to know that the person holding that is a responsible, mature person who knows what they're doing and won't use it unless they absolutely have to. I feel like um I feel like it's hard to it's hard to know whether or not, you know, I mean, again, it's not a perfect system, right? I mean, you can't really just, only have, um, you know, certain types of people being able to get guns or whatever necessarily, like good people or however you categorize that kind of thing. Um, but I don't know. So hopefully that made sense. I didn't really mean to spend however many I don't know however long that was. Um, you know, on the whole gun rights thing, but this is not meant to be an entirely political type video. It's kind of just a mixture of different thoughts. Like I said, this is not. I don't really know what this is. It's not really a walk video. Obviously, I'm sitting down in my room with only the little bit of natural light from the window to the down right now. But anyways, I will be going home this weekend, so it'll be nice to see family, hang out with them for 2 days or so, before I come back here to school and finish off. Hopefully, do my best to finish off strong. The rest of the year. Um, right. I have finals, I believe, this last week of April, and then it's like last week of labor or something or other. I don't know. For the first week of May, although I don't know, maybe depending on how good it is, I might be able to just um, I might be able to just have the last week of April be it for me, but honestly, I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes. I'll probably try to message around with some people. But let's see what time it is. It is about 4:15 ish right now. Um, I don't know how much longer I want to go with this or not. But here's what I gotta say. So I mentioned the whole money thing earlier, but it was regardless. So a couple of days ago, I think it was like about 4 or 5 days ago, whatever it was, I went ahead and decided, you know what? I'm gonna get myself another nice little thing here. So I got myself this Lego minifigure. It's kind of grainy. I know it's not the best quality to see on here, but this is the if you know the Lego Ninjago show, this is the Kai minifigure from season 1 and early season 2. It's the Kai ZX. Let me try turning the light on. Maybe that might help a little bit. Okay, that didn't help at all. It just made it worse. Um, okay, well, whatever. But you kind of get the point. I don't know how well you can see it here. It's kind of hard to get this, but super cool minifigure. That's my favorite ninja. So especially when I was a kid, I really resonated with characters, and it made me find really weird because it's like you know very different personalities. I know, but um, I don't know, but I did, but I did. Um, Especially, I think it was characteristics like, trying to be, brave and loyal. And I also had a lot more of a temper when I was a kid. I'd say I'm pretty, well, I should try to be, pretty mature, responsible and all that. And not too impulsive, but I don't, I have my moments, right? As we all do, I imagine. Um, but anyways, so I also think and I don't want to do it in this video, but I also like the idea about delving into like Enneagram stuff a little bit more because that's kind of been on my mind, my radar a little bit more recently. Again, I was just kind of thinking about that. Um, so I don't know, might do a couple of videos on that. I really like the idea. I don't know when or where that'd be. I'm likely doing it here, but I just don't want to keep my my roommate out for too long, and so I have a little bit of homework and whatnot to do. I don't know if I'm gonna play any more Minecraft today or not. I Since we have had the network issues, I can't play multiplayer pretty much. Either just bugs out or I just straight up can't join it, and performance is a lot worse than normal, and I don't know. I mean, just I don't know. It's probably a combination of technical stuff, but also just how weather's been and a whole bunch of servers are down and just a bunch of crazy ass shit this time of the year. I'm getting close to the end of the school year. Definitely looking forward to summer. I have honestly no idea besides maybe some kind of work and, preparation stuff. Um, with my family or whatever, for my time abroad later this year. But I don't know. We'll see. Well, anyways, if you've I'm just gonna go ahead and end this off here in just a minute or two. I don't want to keep this for too long here. Um, it's already 40 minutes long. I know it's super long, anyways. Most people probably don't even really have the time for that. But, anyways, if you have managed to stick around, appreciate it. Thank you for doing so. I'm trying to reach 100 subscribers before Easter. Currently at 75. I'm a little skeptical that I'm going to get there, but who knows? Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll get some more subscribers. So if you really want to help with that goal, really appreciate it. I'll see you next video. Peace and have a good time. Day, night, whatever it is for you when you're watching this. So, anyways, see you.